Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what seems to be a weekly Team Speed Esports Challenge night. This is the fourth one of the year in the Mazda Roadster touring cars. This is Speed Blue Fox's event, so big shout out to Callum for this one. It's going to be an interesting night. We've got a series of quick races. We've got the likes of Will Murdoch, who's one of the fastest GT racers in Britain, I believe, so this is going to be an interesting one. A short series of 6 tracks, the 5-minute qualifier and 20-lap race. It's going to be definite fun to watch. Just watching the drivers get a bit of early practice in for this one. Once we go racing, I'm sure it won't fail to be exciting. First track tonight is the Northern Irish Speedway. Balance of performance is on. So this means all of the cars are of the same power, of the same weight. And as you can see in the bottom corner there, Callum just reminds us that race 1 has a 5-minute quali, then it's reverse grids for the remaining races. So you just saw the point system that flashed up. First 10, second 8, third 6th, 4th 4th, 5th 2nd, 6th 1, 7th and below don't get anything, and Callum will keep track of the points. It's going to be a very interesting race to watch. I would love to, if you want to get involved for next week, we've got a few more of these coming up. I believe we've had only 4 of them. We did a Rocket League one, this one obviously, but we did a Formula 1 one, and we also did a GTA one last week that I wasn't part of, but all the guys had such good fun with that one. So I'm sure there'll be some more GTA, possibly some Warzone coming out in the future as well. But yeah, we're just on board with Speed Knight in here as he goes around, a bit of traffic in front of him. Just seeing the lap time. Will Murdoch obviously setting the standards high, but I don't doubt some of these guys will be right up there behind him. We'll go through the liveries as well while we can. We've got Will's, which is nice pinky purple with a lovely bit of glossy finish on there. Quite a big fan of that one. Matters has gone for a speed colour livery, driving backwards. Luckily it's a practice session, but he is going backwards. Move on to Pete's. Sorry about that little pause. Pete's is a blue streak livery. It's got white streaks on the front, like flames almost looks like a little Hot Wheels car. It used to be a thing. That's quite a nice little livery there. Going down to Brenda's livery is when we get a chance to see it. Ooh, I'll tell you what, we go like this. It's a nice white Roadster livery. It's got a black on the bottom. It's got his YouTube on the front, I think, there. Lizanne. Yeah, or just Lizanne there. The L on the side. Go to Red Mats. Red Mats is also a speed style livery. Number 8 on the front is Speed Esports, made by Speed Blue Fox himself, or Callum. So that's also a very nice livery there. Then we go to Callum's livery himself, as well as a spin in the background. Callum's going quite slowly at the minute. It's a nice white and I think it's black, yeah, white and black speed livery, which everybody loves to see as he careers into the side of Brenda there. I think just waiting on one more person as well, by the way, and then we'll be in, but that's a lovely livery again. And then Niels has a Mountain Dew livery. Can't go wrong with that one, can you? It's nice green Mountain Dew livery. Looks very different to the ones on the track. Him and Wills seem to stand out a lot more, but nevertheless very nice. Yuri's got a pink and black livery. I don't think it's speed themed, this one. I'm not too sure. Quite hard to tell with all the stuff, all the ghosting on the screen. But that one's not too bad. And then this is Tom Nevitt, who's in the box. It's a renowned green and orangey kind of livery. So it's a nice livery as well. I have to say, I think out of all my favourites, Red Mats or Will's. Will's just because of the way it stands out, but Red Mats just because of how sleek the black looks. It's going to be an interesting interesting night. It's going to be an interesting race, and we'll just wait for these guys to start and get going. I think, yep, qualifier is about to get underway, so this is where we're going to see some real speed. We hope, anyway. Into the qualifier we go then, and it's first out on track. It looks to be Brenda who's going to be first out on track, so he's not really going to get any slipstream. It's only a 5-minute qualifier, so really you can't spend a lot of time chopping and changing position. We're going to go on board with Mr. Blue Fox himself for this one. The host, not host, but the creator, I suppose, of tonight's races. The idea himself. Will Murdoch going out in front. I'm assuming he's got it all sorted for his plan. He knows what he's doing. He's experienced. He's an experienced and he's quick around on this game, should I say, so no issues really for him. I think he's just here for the fun. The rest of these guys can be a close competition. I'm expecting Blue Fox or Callum to be right up there. I think Brenda or Brandon, however we're going to say his name, I'm just going to swap between them all. It's going to be interesting. Pete, just not too bad in this game. Mazda, we know, is quick. Niels could be quick as well. They're all quick drivers. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the likes of T. Nevitt can do, because he's kind of new on the scene. We've seen him in a couple of challenges before, but nothing too serious, and these times are going to start flying in. So it's Matter at the top with an 18.965, and we'll go into the timing screens. 18.9, look how close that is, an 18.984 for Niels, 18.946. They're just changing all the time, so we'll go over them at the end. But Matter comes through again and goes top, and it's just going to be consistently changing and chopping. We'll get some nice little shots for this one. And you just look and watch. Just the absolute pile up. Not pile up, but if something was to happen in qualifying, I think that would be just funny. It would be very funny. But oh, and there we go. Matter has come around. I literally was talking about if a crash was to occur, Matter is already facing backwards. So probably not the start he wanted. But he's on pole at the minute, provisional pole. 2 minutes left in the session, so we shall see what comes of it. I'll just turn that off and let's just watch, because Nevitt in 8th is going to try and get in the slipstream. Goes up to 5th as we see Red Mac and Pete and Niels. That Mountains delivery is great as Brenda and Yuri get into a bit of a tussle. I think we'll go on board with a lap with Brenda. We'll put the info back on. So there we go then. Across the line, into turn 1 we go. It's a pretty short track, this one. It's pretty easy to navigate. Just turn left. Should be interesting to see the race. Brenda then through turn 1, nice, keeping that sight line, drifts out wide and then comes back into the inside for turn 2. To get the best run he can, and then out towards the wall, but not too far, so you can get a nicer line inwards. A little bit deep on his second one, but that lap put him in a 90 dead, which is 9th. Yuri just behind, trying to get the slipstream, doing the same, going wide to cut in. He's going to be on the inside of Brenda, so it's going to be an interesting one to watch. But if they come across the line, that's not quick enough. I think it's going to stay pretty much like this with about a minute left. Just over a minute left, so it will be interesting to see if anybody can improve. Matter sets a new time because he's still purple. I don't know if that was any much quicker. I wasn't quite watching. Now he's down on that time, so being at the front of this train as well. Driver behind him being Team Nevitt, trying to get that slipstream, trying to boost himself up. But while nobody's improving, if we just look at the live timings, we'll see last lap for Matter 19.19, 19.15, and it's 18.8 for a Speed Knighton who's popped himself into the lead behind this train of cars. So it's going to be an interesting qualifier. It looks like the slipstream in this game helps as Will Murdoch goes further into the lead. So then, with qualifying just finished, let's have a look through the through the grid. So Will Murdoch is on pole, over a tenth back is Pete, and then just behind them is Matter, then there's Niels, then Red Matt, T Nevitt, Callum, Yuri and Brenda. But look at that, it's so close between the guys, only 3/10 between it all. So that's going to be an interesting race. 20 laps for this race. 20 laps to see who will get that top spot. Here we go then, cars on the grid in the night, lights shining, and it looks like we're about to get underway for tonight's first Team Speed Challenge. It's Pete on the left, it's Will on the right, just waiting to go racing. Here we go then, 3, 2, and it's lights out, and Will has a seemingly good start over Pete. Pete's going to move over to the left to cover off Matter, who's had a better start. And Pete and Matter are going to be side by side. Then comes Niels, and then comes Callum. Behind them is T Nevitt, then Yuri, then Brenda, and then Red Matter, who seems to have a bit of a slow start. But here we go then. Round we go through to one. We're about to complete the first lap as it is. So this is how quickly this race is going to go. It's just going to be interesting to see who finishes where. The slipstream effect will help, but yeah, and that's Will out wide. Red Matt having a bit of a poor start. Matter and Pete go steaming through. It's Niels and Callum in the background, and Team Evan, they're all still really close. This is still anyone's race. Will just hanging around the outside. Matter and Pete bumper to front. I forgot the term, but Matter trying to look around the outside of Pete as Pete come down his inside, so that's Matter going a bit wide. Team Nevitt has Niels all over the back of him now as they go round turn 2. Is that Brandon on the outside? No, that's Niels on the outside, Brandon on the inside. Pete's still in the lead, but Will's going to look around the outside there. That's Callum on the inside of Niels and Tom Nevitt, so that's going to be a lovely move if he makes that one stick. It's Brenda and Yuri just chilling at the back. Niels is going to, there's a bit of contact between Niels and Callum there. That's going to give T Nevitt the opportunity to go right around the outside if he can make it stick. Not quite, but now Callum looks to close in on the leaders with Pete and Will, and then Matter out in front, so that order's changed a little bit. It's quite hard to keep track of these guys on this track, but I'm doing my best. So Will down the inside of Matter then as they go round and round, and Pete's now going to have a little look as there's contact, and that's Matter in the wall. So we're going to see if these guys can hold on for much longer. Pete from Will, from Matter. This seems to be a very challenging top 3 with the 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th guys just sort of sat back. Behind them is Yuri just waiting for the carnage to unfold. He probably expected to be a crash somewhere, and it looks like we've lost Red Matt from the session. Unfortunately, he's not on the timing screens. But as we see it, it's Will, then Matter, then Pete, then T Nevitt, Callum, Niels, Brenda and Yuri just sitting round the back. So it's a very good commercial. Anyway, yeah, I can't seem to go on board with them anymore, which is a shame. But Will from Pete again, there he goes. T Nevitt right on the back of the leaders now, so you can just see that if you get that slipstream and you get right behind them, that you'll manage to catch up to him. And it's 3 wide, and that's Pete with a bit of a wobble. We're going to go on board with Matter. We're going to follow Matter around the track down the inside. Pete in the middle, Will on the outside, and that's a little wobble from Matter, but T Nevitt's got himself into second, but there's a wobble again. Is this contact into the wall? T Nevitt going to go down the inside to make it move into the lead. Yes, he does. Matter's going to stick with him around the back. Will's going to be in 3rd. Niels a bit far back in 4th, and Pete has dropped right down the order to 7th, and that's disappointing for him, but I'm sure there's still 10 laps to go, so he can shoot himself back up as they go side by side. Yuri and Pete into the wall. Yuri goes. Niels down the inside of Brendan. That was nearly an incident, but manages to keep it safe. Callum sat in 4th. Will chilling around the outside in 3rd as Matter and Thomas go side by side once again. Matter on the outside, Thomas on the inside. Bit of contact, bit of banging into the wall there, but nothing too major. As Will really riding the outside lines here around this track. He really likes to just sort of hang around the outside, try and get the run, try and launch himself onto the little straight we've got here. But now if you look down from 4th, you've got Brandon ahead of Callum, ahead of Niels, but not for much longer as Niels comes down the inside, gets ahead of Brandon. Pete is going to be looking all over this as well as Yuri's. They're going to pull each other along. We go right to the front, the gap at the front. Thomas has kind of got a gap, but there's not really a gap on this track to have, because once you've got a little one, it just goes again. And there goes Matter right round the outside. Will's going to do the cutback, come from outside to inside. Matter's now switched to the inside. Thomas has got a car on his left, a car on his right. Thomas has gone from first to second, maybe even third, if Will can get the run down this next straight. About 14 to 20 though, so there's still a bit of time to go. Will looks to the outside once again. We've seen him do this many times. Can he get around the outside there? Not quite. But Matter has taken the lead with Thomas just sat behind waiting as they're now 3 wide as we go into the second quarter. That is a lovely bit of racing there. Oh, Thomas onto the flat part of the track and pushes Will into the wall. Matt moves out of the way of Will, and that's Thomas from Will, and then it's Blue Fox or Callum from Yuri, who's now slingshotting back as well as Pete. Brenda and Niels must have had some coming together that I missed, because they are a few seconds off the pace. But we look now with Yuri on the back of Pete. This top 6 train, and one of these could still win it in the last 3 laps. Yuri round the inside of Pete, has a little wobble but keeps it clean. Can he get the move on Pete as he comes down the inside? He's in the slipstream. Pete's gone the long way around. Yuri down the inside. I think Yuri will claim that position. As we look to the front now, we've got Will ahead just from Tom Nevitt. Down the inside goes Master. Is that Matter behind Tom Nevitt now? So Tom Nevitt shot himself into the lead, and it's lap 18 out of 20. So these last few laps will be the ones to watch, as we see Will getting all over the back of Matter. Matter just in the lead, but it's a 6-car scrap for the lead. Nobody knows who's going to win this one. It could be anyone still. Catch my breath here. Is that Pete that's gone wide? That's Pete in a wall. Oh, that was T. Nevitt that's gone off the track, which means it's only a 5-car battle for the lead. It gives Callum a chance maybe to get himself through the middle of these drivers, and they go on to the last lap. It's Will around the outside, who's currently in pole, but now Matter is currently in the lead. This still could be anyone's race. Matt has it. Now Pete's coming through the middle. It's Will currently in the lead. Who knows who this is going to fish? Pete down the middle. Yuri's still hanging around the outside, but it's Matter from Pete, from Will, or is it a Pete? There's contact over the line. It's Pete that wins the first race, with Will in second and Matter just in third. It's Yuri that gets fourth, Callum in fifth, Brandon in sixth, Neil seventh, T Nevitt eighth, and I think Red Matt would have finished ninth effectively. So that's points for the top guys, and I think it's top guys down to seventh that get points, if I remember correctly. But what a race that was. The Northern Irish Speedway proving a very nice little racing track for people to go racing on there. Whew, that was a exciting race, that. And what a win for Pete. He was at the top, he was at the first, and then he dropped down and he fought his way back up again. I wonder if I can get high enough to see the points again. Nah, it's just gone, but oh well. The more there, subscribe to Matt on YouTube, subscribe to Pete on YouTube. Thanks for the race. But yeah, make sure you check all these guys out, because Team Speed Esports, as well as Will and Tom and Niels, we're all great guys who love to race. So that is round 1 of 6 completed. Currently have, I think there's 6 rounds, so we've got 5 left. And we'll just see now what the next track is. We'll go back into spectator, because there is a car on track, I think. Red Matt doing donuts. He's back in the lobby now, which is good to see. Back in his car. I bet he wish you would have won that race. But yeah, I think that livery is probably up there one of my favourites. Yeah, we'll just sit and wait and see what happens. So I'll catch you guys in a second when we get back underway at the next track. So as we can see there, guys, it's track has changed now to Kyoto Driving Park Miyabi. So this is going to be an interesting little track to do. There's a few extra corners around this one than the last one, so this adds a little bit more skill. I think I'd favour Will Murdoch just to edge it out on all these races, because we saw these cars very unpredictable, the slipstream very, very effective. So this, again, anybody's race, not just Will Murdoch. I didn't mean to press that. Nearly went to track, nearly started racing myself. But yeah, we'll follow a lap with Red Matt, the guy who unfortunately didn't get a good race start, didn't have a good race last time out, as we go around this lovely little track. As we take these sweeping left-handed after turn 1, goes left, just cuts in right. If you can ride the curve just that little bit to keep your foot flat in fourth on these tracks, braking for the hairpin as we come around the technically penultimate corner, kind of not, because you got this little chicane here into third. You just hold it in third, then put the pedal down as much as you can, up into fourth, over the line we go, starting this lap off as we didn't see this massive curve for turn 1. It's pretty difficult to nail, but if you get it right, you just like Matt is doing here, just keeping that revs high on the inside. Up to fourth we go now, then as we kind of accelerate, there's a car of Team Nevitt, I think that is, on the right hand side. All we need to do now, just ride that curve a little bit, brake for the hairpin spot, your braking point, down into second this time, get that extra little kick out of the hairpin. Through the chicane we go. It's the left-right chicane. It's not a difficult chicane to manage if you get it perfect, but can cause incidents in the race. Watching 9 cars go through there will be a fun one, and Matt sets a 45.6 for this practice time. We'll see how that compares to their qualifying times that they'll be setting in a few minutes. I'll leave you on board. I'll leave you on board with Will Murdoch. Never mind, not work because the file is beginning already. So there goes my there goes me getting a break. But as I say, this is going to be a really fun race to watch, and a really interesting race as a whole. Oh, of course, yeah, that's my bad. I forgot what we're doing. It's a custom qualifying grid for the reverse of last race, so save the qualifying. I completely forgot about that. So we're 5 lights already then. There's Red Matt on pole, T Nevitt on the left, Red Matt on the right, and it's lights out, and away we go for the second race of the evening. It's Niels in third, who's had a good start. Red Matt and T Nevitt both got away equally. Yuri on that left hand side, far right now. Away well, it's 2 wide, I believe, into that's Niels and Callum. Yuri just looking down the inside, Bill on the right, Brandon then on the outside of him, with Matter ahead of Brandon now, with Pete just in last place, but look to the lead again. Red Matt still out in front with T Nevitt. Oh, that's all wide. There's 3 or 4 cars wide there. Yuri was one of them, Will was one of them, Pete and Brenda I think were one of them. Gives Red Matt that little bit of breathing room out the front here. But yeah, as we complete lap 1, it's a short lap, 12 laps for this track. T Nevitt in second, followed by Blue Fox in third. It's Will Murdoch in fourth, maybe not for much longer, as he goes down the inside of Callum, around the hairpin. Callum's going to have the outside line, so Will will have the better line through the corner, but Callum might get the exit, and Matten might look to get in on this battle now. Will just takes that third position from him. Niels in 6th, Yuri in 7th, Pete in 8th, Brenda in 9th, but you never know with these cars in this track. There's still 10 laps after this one to go. Anything could happen, and Red Matt has built himself a nice little gap which he'll enjoy, but now he's got the Will Murdoch, one of the champions of British GT Sport Racing, chasing him down in his pink Mazda. We look back and see that Callum even is not too far behind. He's going to go down the inside, do the exact same move that Will made to him, keeping it nice and tight, nice and close. It's very close, good racing between these boys. And we look backwards, we see T Nevitt and Matt are doing the same thing. I think on this occasion Callum's not managed to get the move done, and Matt has kept that position ahead of Team Nevitt, I think. Neil's on the back of these, slowly catching, and Yuri and Pete looking to make the ground up. Brenda a little bit far back this time around. We want to close that gap up, but Red Matt is steaming away with a 1.5 second lead. Here we go, on to lap 4 with Will ahead of Callum, ahead of Matta, and this will be an interesting fight for second, or maybe even first if Will can pull away. Callum not close enough to go down the inside, and I think that's Niels and T Nevitt. Niels ahead of T Nevitt, so I've missed that one somewhere. Are we going to see T Nevitt and Neil? Oh, we used T Nevitt go down the inside of Niels, not in this occasion. But, oh, that's an incident. That's T Nevitt into the wall. We just saw him at the bottom of that screen come flying into the wall. He's got going again, but Brenda is ahead of him now. It's Pete and Yuri battling. Matt is a bit wide on that curve there, meaning Callum has a little bit of breathing space from Matta, but it's Will versus Red Matt for the lead if Will can keep closing this gap like he's doing. Obviously Callum being a GT Sport connoisseur, as I'd like to call him, he'll be smart about this one with Matta. He'll know third is still his to keep if he can keep that car behind him. But Matta also is quick, as Niels goes for a trip on the grass there. That might slow him down into braking. He's going to go deep. No, he just keeps it, just gets a bit lucky with that one. But Matta now right on the back of Callum as they go through the chicane onto the straight. Matta's going to have a run here. Can we see another overtake into turn 1 round with a really tight hairpin? Down the inside he goes. Keeps it nice and tight on the curve. Little wobble out as Callum to kind of get ahead. But Matt will have the exit, I think, to just keep it. But Callum's run into the next couple of corners might just help him as they go side by side through this right-hander. I think Matt just ahead of Callum, but you never know. Callum will try and get that back, probably into turn 1 once again. We look back and see Pete and Yuri there having a bit of a fight as well in the background. They're going to be on the back of each other pretty soon, and Matta and Callum now are going to go head to head. Who can get there first into turn 1? I think it's going to be Callum. Going to have a look down the inside, maybe. Sends one down the inside. As we see, it's a lovely bit of racing between them. A little bit of contact. That might have been a bit of lag, a bit of desync in there, but I think all in all, Callum drifts out wide. Bit of contact with Matta. I think Matta's going to get that place back. Yeah, might have got that place back. So that's those two. Pete and Yuri a little bit further apart than last lap on this occasion. With Red Matt still in the lead, 1.3 to Will, 1.2. So it's very similar, very tight. But then that gap, 3.6 to third place with Callum and Matt still fighting. Matt got a little bit further ahead on this lap than last, so maybe less of a chance for an overtake. Or is Callum still going to go for it into turn 1? No, not quite. He's going to look around the outside, which is a risky move, but if it comes off, it looks good on the cameras. Anyway, Matta stays ahead for now. Will still hunting down Red Matt, a little bit further back, but only just. Maybe saving it for the last few laps or just letting Matt have it. But Callum and Matta side by side, round the hairpin. It's Callum now ahead of Matta, but Matta's going to have the exit around the inside as they come through the chicane side by side. Callum, Matta and Callum. Matta's in a wall. There goes Callum, there goes Matta, and Callum has got the place on Matta, but it's allowed Niels, more importantly, to catch right up to the back of these guys, and potentially Niels could steal a podium if he gets through the weight of Matta. We're going to look a bit further back to Yuri, doing well in 6th place, keeping Pete at bay. 1.2 seconds is the gap. And Brenda just behind him. He's about 5 seconds behind him, but he's keeping it consistent. And then obviously Tom Nevitt had that issue, had that crash into the wall. He's just struggling a little bit to get going and get back up to pace again. But we're going to look to the battling ones. Look to Will now, who's 9/10, just over 9/10 behind, setting purple laps after purple laps. He is going for that win on Red Mat. Red Mat will be trying his best to keep that in front, but Will, with that just little bit more consistency that he's got, will hopefully reckon he got the move on. But the closest battle then on track is currently Niels and Matter. However, I don't think Niels is quite close enough, so we're going to look to the front two. So out 9/10 as they come through the chicane. I don't think Will's close enough this time around to go for a move as we go on to lap 11 then. But Red Mat will be starting to sweat a little bit, looking in his mirrors to see Will just breathing down his neck. Niels and Matter ever closer as we come into turn 1 now. Looking just to see if Niels can get his nose in there, just dive down the inside, but he's patient and he's waiting it out. He's only got one more lap after this one, so he needs to do it into turn 1 if he can. Look to the top two now, 6/10 with the chicane to go before they're on their final lap. If Will gets a better run than Matt round through the chicane like he has done, it's going to be a lot closer this time around. And 5/10, you wouldn't normally say, yeah, go for it as they start their final lap, but it's the final lap, so anything really could happen still. As we don't see Will make the move yet, we're going to look back just to see Niels a little bit too far back from Matter, who's catching up a little bit to the back of Callum, but not too much. The closest battle then, as we are on the final lap, will be the battle for the lead. Just the hairpin and the little chicane to go. Will still setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Will round the outside. Can he make it stick round there? No, but he's going to try and get a better exit. Can he overtake through the chicane? It's going to be a nice little move if he can. Might wait to do it on the straight. Is it going to be Will or is it going to be Matt that crosses the line first? It's neck and neck as they cross the line, but it's Red Matt that's going to take the win. Will Murdoch will take second place with Callum coming home in third. Matter holds on to fourth from Niels in fifth. Yuri in sixth. Pete in seventh. And then T. Nevitt will come home eighth. And Brenda ninth, I believe. So Brenda's had a little bit of an incident there as well. So interesting stuff for this one, but it will mean that Brenda is on pole for the next race from T. Nevitt, and then Pete, Yuri, and then Niels and Callum, and then Will and Red Matt. So that will be an interesting race in itself. But after Matt got away sort of in the first few laps, even though Will was behind him, breathing on his neck, didn't crack under pressure, managed to just keep himself there, and won that particular race. So that's a win for Pete and a win for Matt. Let's see the next track in a few minutes' time. So, the next track we'll be racing at is 10 laps around Sardegna Road Track C. It's not a track I'm that familiar with, but again, I don't play GT Sport that often. 1920, so at dusk, so it will get dark in this race. Over here, I'm just going to do that because then we don't put all the stuff in the bottom of the screen. But as always, just go on board with Will Murdoch. Should we go from inside his car? We'll go inside his car. So, into turn 1. Brake quite heavy for the left-hander. So we've got a nice heavy braking zone into this in this track, which is nice to see. The Mazda's not that much of a powerful car, not that heavy either, so stopping's not too difficult, but then sort of quick left-hander there, little lift, tap of the brakes maybe as we go through the sort of faster bit towards the end of the lap. It's left, right, left with walls on either side, which you do not want to be bouncing off of. Just see the amount of little steering input Will puts in though, just to sort of feather the car around the corners. A little bit of grass takes up there as we go around the final corner, which is a heavy braking zone again, much like T1. And Will then will come to start his first fly with red mat behind. All this is good practice for the race. Looks like Matt's had a little bit of an off somewhere. Neil's going through. Neil's tried to hit him almost. Going a little bit sideways, but keeping it in a straight line. Pete's a little bit slow through here, just waiting, I think, for that one more driver. I think all drivers are on track. I think waiting for the drivers to just get a lap in. But yeah, looks to be an interesting race. A couple of heavy braking zones, a little bit of a fast bit in the middle sector, and this corner here, this left-hander in the middle of the track, the middle part of the track, could catch people out into the wall. If there's contact through there as well, then it's anybody's game. You don't know what happens. I have to say, looking back now, this 47 livery of Callum's, the sportswear brand, the Speed sportswear brand on the front. I can't quite remember the name of it at the minute, which is a bit bad of me, but this livery is also one of the nicer ones as well. But anyway, Brandon lines up on pole with Tom Levitt alongside him. Pete and Yuri occupy the second row with Niels and Mato the third, and Blue Fox and Will occupying that fourth row. But anyway, here we go. It's lights out for the third race of the week, halfway through the night, and Brandon down the inside, on the inside of T Nevitt. T Nevitt's got a better start and looks to be the driver that's going to go into turn one ahead. It's all about the braking zones on this track, as we've got all 9 cars. We've got 3 or 4 wide there. Brandon down the inside gets T Nevitt into turn one. T Nevitt with his hazard lights on there, and it's Matter from red mat from Pete in the background swapping positions. They're going to go side by side, maybe 3 wide if Will comes down the inside of them both, with T Nevitt and Brendan side by side as well. And that's Brendan going to go a little bit wide into the gravel. That's Brendan into last place, unfortunately for Brendan. As we look to the leader, it's Matta who's leading this race currently, with Will in second, Tom in third. Can Matt find his way past? No, because he's got Callum coming down his inside, and that's Yuri who had a little look as well, trying to get the best, but Tom's gone wide. That's going to allow Callum to come steaming through. That's going to allow Yuri to come through, maybe even Red Matt to come through. This is going to be a close race, this one, but we're going to look a little bit to the front now, because Will is ahead of Matter, so that must have happened in the final corner. Matter gone deep, Will must have come down his inside. Who's going to make it to the end of the race in this position there? Nobody really knows. With the 10 laps we've got Will ahead of Matt. Will goes a little bit deep. That's not going to infringe him too much. Red Matt's come out in third of that little battle, with Blue Fox trying to go around the outside if he can make it, but not quite. Tom Nevitt in fifth, just sort of sat behind these guys, with Niels just watching and waiting, about a second behind. Then comes Pete, there comes Brander, who's on the charge from his little off. You can see the gravel marks from the first lap. Yuri had an off at the, I don't know if it was the final corner or the first corner, but he's a few seconds back, so he'll be looking to make that time up. As we look to the lead now, it's Will who's gone ahead, and Matter dropping down the order significantly. Back up to third now though, but it's a close fight as Callum just gets a little bit wide out of that corner, goes a little deep, and might allow Matter to come back, but Matter's got T Nevitt all over the back of him. T Nevitt might look to the outside, or will he switch to the inside? He can't switch to the inside because he's got Red Matt who's going to come down his inside. This is going to be close battle for third, I feel, maybe even second, depending if Callum pulls away or not. But Callum goes into that turn, stays second. Little bit of a wobble though on exit, and that's also a wobble for Red Matt. He's going to have Matter all over the back of him as they go through the left section onto the little straight. Now this is the corner I said people might get a little bit caught out on. It's a fast left-hander, but can also create a lot of understeers. We see there from Niels going quite wide, and that's Matter then going to looked down the inside, didn't quite make it down the inside, but into towards the hairpin we go through the final few corners. Will Matter launch one down the inside? Will it be sensible? Will he wait? He's going to take a wider line, try and get the cutback, but that's going to allow Red Map maybe a little bit of space. Team Nevitt, Neil's having a bit of a slide. Pete and Brandon going side by side through there. Now the question for Myra is, does he look in his mirrors or does he look ahead, because he's got Red Map coming right at him through the first corner. All the cars sort of in a nice little line as we see them, apart from Will, who's already through the first turn now as we go to 6 seconds ahead nearly. There we go then, Matter down the inside of Callum, makes it stick just about, pushes Callum wide. Callum's going to have the inside for the next corner. Now it's Matter's turn to have the inside. They're still side by side, and Red Matt just sat behind him. He's now going to come through the middle of them. Oh, can't quite get through the middle. Not enough speed to get there, but Matt's going to have the inside. Callum, oh, there's contact, this big contact. Tom Nevitt in a wall, Matter in a wall. I think there's Brandon in the wall as well. So that promotes Callum into second, with Red Matt into third. So this will be the battle for second, and as Red Matt's going to try and go around the outside into the hairpin. Callum on that inside line seems to prefer the inside line. But will Red Matt get the run off of the final corner? Looks like he will, and Red Matt's going to shoot himself into second place. Will Callum be able to come back at him into turn 1? We'll check back in a second with Matter now back into 4th. Neil's in 5th, Yuri in 6th, Pete in 7th, Brendan 8th, and Team Nevitt after that big impact down in 9th. But as we look, Will round the first corner already. He's 8 seconds clear. He looks like he's won this race. Callum though, round the outside of Red Matt down the inside. Which one of them is going to make this move stick? It looks like it's Red Matt's second place for now. We're still only on lap 5 out of 10 on this race. Callum still has every opportunity for that second place. As 4th place man is 3.9, he's nearly 4 seconds back. It's going to take something for him to get back, but in 5 laps, who knows? Callum goes a little bit wide. Red Matt kind of went wide, so it's very even through this sector of the track. Callum almost pushing Red Matt through the twisty section before we go up towards the hairpin. Callum really looking for a way past now. These cars are so nippy and so even on pace that it's really anybody's race. It just comes to that little bit of skill that you need to get past. But again, it's Callum and Red Matt going to be side by side into turn 1. So we look back, it's Yuri in 5th, and Niels in 6th, Pete in 7th, Brendan in 8th. Will Murdoch still now comes around the final corner, first corner should I say, with that 9.5 second gap. But anyway, we look to the battle for second. It's Blue Fox or Callum down the inside with Red Matt. Red Matt's going to get the switch back if he can get it, but Callum's cut him off to take that corner how he wants to, and Callum now kept P2 for the start of lap 6. If Red Matt's going to throw it down the inside there, it's going to be a brave move, because the understeer now he's backed out of that one because it's a sensible thing to do. Although if Callum goes a little bit wide there, which he has done over the curve, Red Matt's going to get a better run and be ahead as they go into the left-right section of this track. Towards the hairpin we come. Red Matt on the left is going to defend the inside. Red Matt is going to defend the inside. Callum going to go the long way around. This might give Callum the better exit actually. So Red Matt defended the corner well, but Callum could have a better exit. It looks like they have similar exits, but that little bit of slipstream down to turn 1 is going to help Callum massively, as Will is now 10.8 seconds ahead. If you look down the order, it's Matter from Yuri, from Niels, from Pete, so nothing's changed there. We're going to see Red Matt again down the inside of Callum. Can we make this one stick this time around? Yes, I think we can do, but Callum's got a lovely little exit there. Just has to concede behind Red Matt. He's going to go down the inside, do this left-hander. Are they side by side enough, or is Callum going to back out of it? I think they are still side by side. Hold my breath as they go through there, because that's Red Matt who's gone a little bit wide. That's going to promote Callum up a little bit further, especially now. Red Matt's hit that wall. And if Callum can get the hairpin right, Callum will probably hold on to P2 now for at least another lap. We'll see if any incidents occur or any mistakes, but Redmar will be kicking himself because he knows that little tap of the wall could have cost him a second place. But anyway, we look back now to see Pete trying to go around the outside of Brendan. Brendan's on the inside there. Yuri on the back of Mata, as it seems. Going to try and go for a move. Just double check the guys at the front a little bit too far back. Yuri then down the inside of Mata. Can he make this one stick? Mata been fighting at the top for a lot of the races. Yuri been in the mid-pack. Yuri now goes for a move down the inside. If he gets this one off, that's a lovely little move he's made, and he's kept it. Mata can't quite get the exit, but Mata will now follow him through the middle part of the sector along with Pete. Pete right behind Brendan. Oh, Brandon. I keep saying mixed Brendan and Brandon, so Brandon. But Mata trying to look down the inside. Yuri. Oh, and he will get down the inside because Yuri's had it off. Yuri kept it in a straight line, but that's going to promote Pete and Brenda a little bit of time, give them a little bit more of a chance of getting that extra position as they go side by side to this part of the track. Niels as well, still not out of this P4 battle maybe if he can keep it going. Goes for a wide line there. Thought he put it in a wall, but now we'll give him a really nice exit. We look to the front two. Side by side again. Not the front two, but Will's 13 seconds ahead. Side by side again. So Red Matt has pulled that gap back from the time he lost. Round the outside he goes, or Callum. If he makes that one stick, that's probably one of the better moves we've seen. Onto the gravel he goes though, so Callum will pull it back. Just how far ahead will he come out? A little bit. Couple of tenths in that as we look back, see Mata ahead of Yuri, ahead of Brandon, just about ahead of Pete, ahead of Niels, and obviously T Nevitt with that incident I think has retired the car. But Will is going to start his final lap with a 15-second advantage nearly, so Will has just dominated this race unless he goes into the bits, which he nearly does. But we look back to second and third. The fight for second been on this whole race. Was Mata in it at one point? Little incident demoted him to fourth, so that battle for fourth is still on. But it's Redmat behind Callum once again. Redmat just can't find his way past as we come onto the final lap. He's going to have to do it here, or he's going to have to be a bit risky through that middle sector. Yeah, risky. I like that. It is my name after all, Speed Risky. But anyway, little plug. Redmat down the inside of Callum. Can he make this stick? Callum took a bit of a wide line and cut across, but Redmat was never going to get that overtake done. So Redmat now has to line himself up as we look in the background. See Yuri sends it on the inside of Mata, makes that one stick. But then there's contact between them both. Mata goes wide and Brendan comes through, takes that place off Mata, and that was a bit of risk reward from Yuri there. The risky move down the inside, bit of contact. Just about gets away with it into fourth place. Brandon and Matt are going to go side by side. Brendan's going to be pushed onto the gravel, so that's going to be another race for him, unfortunately. But we cut back to Will Murdoch, who wins this race by about 15.5 seconds. Oh, Callum's in second. Redmat had a chance to steal it, but no, he's gone wide at the final corner. He had to do something. So it's Callum in second, Redmat in third. Yuri will probably hold on to that fourth position then. That move into turn one that he made was all worth it in the end. With is he letting Matt through? Is he just taking the? No, he's just taking that line. With Massa going to come home in fifth. Neil breathing down his neck. Sixth. Pete consistent seventh in that race, and Brandon in eighth. With T Nevitt believe in ninth, meaning T Nevitt will start on pole for the next race, whatever that may be. So that's a win for Pete in the first race, a win for Redmat in the second race, and this was the third race we've had with a different winner of Will Murdoch. So this championship still could be anybody's as we go into the final half of it. There's 3 races left to see who comes out on top in week 4's Team Speed Challenge. Okay then, so here we go for the fourth race of the evening. It's Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, and these cars will be an interesting one. It's a track that is liked by many people. We'll go this time on board with Callum. As we go through turn one, Brandon already having a little bit of a wobble, so this track is going to be a little bit difficult, I feel, for a few of the guys. We're going to struggle a little bit. Is that Brandon come down back the inside? I think it was Brandon that came down the inside of Callum. But yeah, this track might have a little, the guys might need a little bit of practice to just get themselves up to speed. Speed. Oh, funny. But that's Brandon really not liking this track at the minute. That's two offs he's had. Whether they're being like just accidental or he's doing them on purpose will okay, he's just messing about. Him and Neil's gonna have a bit of banter bashing. But yeah, we will go on board with Callum for a lap of this track then. So into turn one we go. Lift off, bit of tap on the brakes through turn one's right-handed. Keep it nice and steady on the on the exit of the turn on the outside. Into two, it's a weird corner. If you follow the inside line, you could be too tight. If you go too far wide, you'll drift out. So you keep it in the middle as we come down, round, stick it on the outside curve to cut in through the middle. A bit wide on exit, but that's not too much of an issue. Then as we go down the shortest straight there is on this track, the left-right pretty much flat in these cars. There's heavy braking around the final corner until you get about halfway around it. Then you put your foot down and you just go to the line. It's going to be a long stretch till we get to the line. It's about halfway down the straight, a bit longer. You cross the line. So 55-1 for Callum. Matt's time a little bit faster. Redmar's time a bit faster than that, but that's not going to matter with no qualifying. It's all about the race pace then as we go into race number 4. Once again, T Nevitt on the left, Brandon on the right. I feel like we've said that a couple of times tonight, in some way or the other, with Pete and Niels occupying the second row, Matt and Yuri on the third row, and Redmat and Blue Fox or Callum on the fourth, with Will in the background. So good start from T Nevitt, who gets away well. Brendan in second, just slots in behind him with Pete and Niels side by side with Matt just on that little inside, so that's going to be an interesting one to watch. Matt going to try and slip his way into second, take it from Brenda. Callum right on the outside in the background, as you see, trying to make his way from the back of the grid because Will's got past him, but there's Brandon on the outside who's been pushed onto the grass with Yuri. Pete dropped into sixth, but Matter's got himself into third, and Redmat in second with T Nevitt dominating this first lap. Will Murdoch around the outside of Callum. Can he make that one stick? He's come from last on the grid into fourth place. Goes a bit deep, but gets the move done in the end. Callum holding just behind him in fifth. Pete in sixth. Neil's now going down his inside to take that sixth away from him if he makes the move stick. Brandon just holding back in eighth, with Yuri sitting in ninth, waiting in the wings. Into turn one they went, and out of turn one they came, with Tom Nevitt in first, but not by much, as Redman's going to try and go around the outside. That's going to compromise his line. Is Matter now going to be able to capitalise on that? Yes, he is down the inside. They're going to go. He's going to turn to the outside now for Matter. Oh, he's going to get pushed out onto the grass, and that's going to allow Will to maybe find his way through into third. They're going to be side by side. They're going to be three wide. The left-hander Matter out onto the grass. He's going to have to cut the corner and concede that place as Callum's now come steaming up the inside of Matt. Red Matt into third. Will Murdoch from the back of the grid into second place. Just shows you the talent of this kid. With Tom Nevitt still holding that lead, but Yuri now side by side with Pete. Gets that move done. Brandon and Niels might want to look down the inside there, but T1 again for the first guys. Will has got ahead of T Nevitt. Red Matt ahead of T Nevitt now. It's just Matters is going to send it down the inside. Oh, Matt has hit T Nevitt. Missed his breaking point. T Nevitt's now in 4th. Matt's in 5th, but he's going to lose it to Niels and Brandon, I'd imagine. Just about holds on 5th. That was a interesting move. I'm going to assume he's missed his braking point. And now T Nevitt around the outside of Will. Nice little move there from Tom. Just finding his way back up through the field. If he can catch the first 2 again, he'd like that. A bit of contact between the 2. Will going to come back down the inside now. But it's once again Red Matt and Callum going to be fighting for, this time, the top spot. Not just 2nd spot, but Will. Getting past T Nevitt, he's going to try and come back at him and see if he can add a bit of spice to this spot. Make it a 3-way battle, not just a 2-way battle. Brandon then, ahead of Niels. But for how much longer? Niels is going to look down the inside. Can't quite look down the inside because he's got Pete trying to come around his outside. Will he make a move there? No, he's just going to sit behind and hold his line. Red Matt out in the lead by 1.3 and a 1.9 gap from Callum to Will. T Nevitt about 1.1 and Matt a similar gap behind. But it's this battle here, battle for 6th. Niels down the inside to Pete there. Makes it, well, Pete's going to try and look back into him. Try and get by into turn 1. As we see Matter now on the back of T Nevitt. These first front 3, front 4, front 5 even, just making that gap to 6th place. T Nevitt now and Matter had, oh, T Nevitt's off. Matter and T Nevitt have had a come together. T Nevitt's now going to be demoted to 9th place, so that's last for him. But it gives Matter that clean air to go and challenge Will Murdoch and maybe make it a 4-way fight for the lead. As Callum goes on the curb there, but still is closing on Red Matt. Look to Pete and Yuri, and as we do that, we see Pete going down the inside of Yuri. Not making that move stick, or Yuri comes out ahead. I've been all the way around. I get names mixed up sometimes, but anyway, Niels in 5th place. Can he hunt down Manor? He's got that big gap, but he's trying to make it, trying to close it. Lost a little bit of time to Brandon on that occasion, but anyway, we look back now. 6th, 7th, 8th, all in this battle. 9th as well. Yuri then going to go down the inside at T1. Can he make his thing? Oh, he's gone drift out right on the outside, and it's promoted to 9th. T Nevitt now by him. Pete's going to look down the inside. It's going to become the outside around the next corner, but gets the move done early enough that he's not going to need to worry about that. And now T Nevitt and Brendan are going to go side by side. Make that Yuri and Tom. Down the inside goes Yuri. Can he get it on Brandon as well? He's going to look for it. Not quite. Tom has got a better run as well. Better exit to make him stay in that 8th place on the curb then for Brandon, and cutting the corner for Brandon as well as Tom. Tom's going to try and shoot around the inside. We're going to look though. Now at 2nd and 3rd, it's Callum from Will. Red Matt still out in front. Callum gone a bit wide. Callum's off. Oh, that's contact, but not on purpose. Will then promoted into 2nd. Going to chase down Red Matt like they did in the 2nd race. Callum holds on to that 3rd, but Matter now only 2 seconds behind, 1.7. That gap will continue to drop. Niels about 7 seconds back. Got Pete 1.6 behind him. T Nevitt and Yuri going side by side, and Brenda's had an off somewhere. As you see him now down in 9th. We had to cut away from their battle to watch the leading battle. So we missed that. T Nevitt's gone off a while onto the track. It's going to allow Yuri to come back through, is it? No, Tom managed to keep the speed off the track. Like a bit like George Russell did in qualifying that time. Oh, Yuri with a big slide. Gonna drift through the grass. Keep it on the track if he can. Nice little drift shot there. Save that replay and get it on YouTube. But that's demoted into 8th with Brandon 9th. T Nevitt still ahead of him in 7th by a couple of seconds as we're on lap 8 now. Pete then hunting down Niels. 1.2 seconds separates, and 1.3 now as Niels in 5th. Matt are in 4th, 1.5 behind Callum. That gap's dropping. 3 seconds is the gap between Callum and Will. Red Matt and Will, 1.5 second gap. Will want to hunt Matt down and overtake him, unlike the 2nd race. And as you see as well there, Red Matt just had a bit of a shaky exit, and that allowed Will to ease right up to the back of Red Matt. Will we see move into T1? Don't quite think he's going to have the pace be close enough. Oh, speaking about the Red Matt's gone onto the gravel and he's had to drop defensive. That's going to allow Will around the outside. It's not the best line into the corner. If Will can get the better exit though, Will be right on the back of Red Matt through the left-hander. Maybe look for a move down towards the oval hairpin, as I'll call it. Outside for Will, inside for Matt. That's all going to change in a second. As Will is going to look. Oh, he's going to look for a move around the outside, but couldn't quite make it stick. Bit of a wobble. Red Matt's going to be ahead, but as they come onto the longest straight of this track, the pit straight, Will's going to move to his left, our right. It's going to be the outside of the track for Will, inside of the track for Red Matt. Red Matt's going to hold on through turn 1, but then as they're going to come towards turn 2, who's going to be ahead? Still Red Matt, but Will's going to be on the outside again. Can he make this one stick? This side by side racing. Will's gone a bit wide onto the Astro. Red Matt just keeps ahead. And now Red Matt's gone onto the actual grass, and that's going to promote Will into first. Red Matt's going to try and stick it in around the outside, but that's Will into the lead of this race on lap 10. If Red Matt can get that back, he will certainly try his best to. And this gap has now dropped. Callum and Matt 8 tenths, 9 tenths, so it's hovering around that second mark, with Niels and Pete fighting within 1.5. T Neville, Tom only 2.2 back. Yuri a little bit further back from that, and then Brandon's just had a bit of an awful race this time, but he's still going, and that's the main thing. So closest battle on the track then, as we're on the penultimate lap, is Will versus Red Matt. But are we going to see Will pull away that little bit further? Because now Matta and Callum are the closest battle on track. Callum ahead of Matta for this lap at least, but maybe about to change as we're going to go towards the final corner. I don't think we'll see a move around the corner, but I feel like down the straight it's going to be a very close one indeed. The front two now will pull out a second gap over Red Matt, so Red Matt's going to struggle to close that as we head on towards the final lap. We look towards Matta, we look towards Callum. Callum be checking his wing mirrors, checking left, checking right. Matta going to just sit behind Callum as they go through turn 1. Not many overtakes happen through turn 1, it's this part of the track. Turn 2, if they can get it right, then grab that inside line, or like he's trying to do there, a bit of contact, bit of forceful move on the last lap, which is always great to see. So Matta's got that move. Into third place he goes. Niels and Pete ever closer, but not quite close enough for Pete to challenge, with Tom in 7th and Yuri in 8th closing that gap. But again on the last lap, going to be difficult. Brandon now on to his last lap. Will then is going to come around the final corner to take another victory in race 4 with Red Matt P2, and it's going to be side by side for the podium with Callum and Matta. It's going to be Callum, I think, just across the line, 600ths of a second. Callum takes it from Matta. Then it comes Niels, then comes Pete, T Nevitt in 7th, Yuri in 8th, just about, and Brandon will eventually finish in P9. So what a race that was. That's another victory for Will Murdoch. So 2 for Will, 1 for Red Matt, and 1 for Pete, I believe. I think that's right. Oh, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, because Pete won around the oval circuit, Pete, in the first race. Red Matt kept Will at bay in the second race. The third race, Will's to win because he dominated it. And this fourth race now, Will has just won that race as well in the pink Mazda. So then, race 4 completed. championship seems to be wide open. I'll say it. Championship still seems wide open. Pete getting that win will still be up there. I don't think these last few results have helped him massively, though. Will, with 2 wins, will significantly help his chances. I'd put him towards the top end of the championship. Callum, Matta and Red Matt all still to play. Callum and Matta yet to win a race, but that could all change with the final 2 races coming up in just a minute. So we are back then for race number 5 of 6. So the penultimate race around Goodwood Motor Circuit. We will go out and we've automatically locked onto Pete. So we'll follow a little lap with Pete around this track. It's a track I've never raced around on this game. Not to say it's a bad track. I'm not a GT Sport expert. But anyway, there's yellow flag of Brandon and that's Callum, I think. Oh no, it wasn't. That was a red map. That's my mistake. It's because Callum is the car ahead, I believe. Yes, Callum is the car ahead. But this track is a nice flowing track from what I've watched, what I've seen. Not many heavy braking zones. Very sort of, if you're in your rhythm and you find the flow, then you will get this lovely sort of lap time that you'll just think, wow, that is a nice lap, especially to drive. Whereas a lot of tracks you sort of think, oh, mess up there. But this one, apart from sort of the last corner, or not last corner, but that corner there, I think it's the penultimate corner. Yeah, it is. It's tricky. This corner is the trickiest corner on the track, as Pete has just shown us. The last 3 corners are difficult, as Brandon's demonstrating for us nicely there as well. It's Tom Levitt still in his box, so Neil's also in the box, not feeling like they need any practice. So Yuri and Callum getting some drifting in. Matta and Will just following each other around, looking for that lap time. Matta trying to catch up, and into the walls he goes. But yeah, you see from Yuri there, if you just tap that grass on the outside ever so slightly, it will result in a spin, or at least a slide, which Yuri managed to very well maintain and hold there. So very, very well done to him. But this time it's Brandon on the right, Yuri on the left, Tom Levitt and Speed United occupied the second row, Niels and Matt occupied the third, Callum and Red Matt occupy the fourth, and Will is down at the back once again. But here we go then, 3, 2, 1, and we're off for the 5th race around Goodwood, and Brandon gets a good start, just holds Yuri off, but Yuri will come on his inside towards to one. The rest of them sort of formed in a line from third downwards, side by side though are the first and second drivers. Brandon already wide onto the track, which promotes Yuri into first. Tom's going to try and look down his inside through the fast flowing right hander here. Tom's going to get that done, get that stick, and now Yuri's under pressure for Pete, who would love another win under his belt to maybe increase his chances of getting that championship. Matter out wide on the grass, going to concede positions to Will and to Callum here, with Red Matt sitting in behind with Niels and Brandon, just the two cars waiting in the wings. But now it's Tom in first. Will has shot himself into second. I think Pete's had an off somewhere, because Will in second with Callum in third, Yuri in fourth, Matt in fifth, sixth for Niels, seventh for Matt, eighth for Brandon, and yes, Pete has had an off. So I wonder if there was contact made or something of that sort. But Will now into the lead. Team Nevitt getting bullied a little bit off the track from what it seems, now down in seventh. So it looks like Tom and P getting bullied by Will and a couple of the other guys down towards the back of the grid. It's Red Matt in sixth, looking for Matta and Niels, getting racy for fourth. But here they got corner, could catch them all out on the first lap. All gone through there quite smoothly, but it's Will who's going to dominate this first lap, as it seems, from the back of the grid to the first position place. Yorido doing well to hold second from Callum behind. Callum will want to get a win under his belt if he can, so we want to get rid of Yuri quickly and get past him. But we know what Yuri's driving style is like. Yuri is one of those racers you don't want to be behind, because he will just not let you by. He's got that defensive attribute in his locker. Whereas Red Matt in fourth as well now, he's a racy character, so if he gets onto the back of these two, it will be an interesting fight for P3. Matta just behind them. All the cars starting to file out now. Brandon up in sixth, not having a bad race at the end of last one. Neil's in seventh, Tom in eighth, Pete down in ninth, 12 seconds off the lead, so that victory he was hoping for this race might have to wait till the last one. But Will then, 2.7 seconds ahead. Yuri now just a 10th ahead of Callum as we come towards the right-hander. Callum going to be on the outside, Yuri on the inside. Callum broke that a little bit earlier. Yuri, Will's sideways and off the track. Yuri's also sideways and off the track into the barriers. They go then, hits into Callum, so that's a massive contact. Redman's going to just drive into first. Yuri facing the wrong way, going to delay him to at least 8th, I think, if Pete carries. Oh, Pete's off the track now though, so that battle for 7th will continue. Will now down in 6th, Matta stays 5th, Nails into 4th, 3rd for Brandon, 2nd for Callum, but Red Matt getting that, keeping it clean, just sort of sat in 4th, has now got ahead of all the 3 drivers ahead of him into the lead of the race. And if he wins this race, him and Will have an exciting championship battle for the final race. Callum though, will want this win. They fought hard, these two, in the 3rd race, I believe. For 2nd, they fought hard in the 4th as well. It's going to be an interesting fight for the lead. If Callum wins this race, evens the playing field out between 2nd place. Will still be ahead on terms of wins. If Red Matt wins this race, him and Will will be on the same terms in terms of wins, just points in the final race between them. But Callum, 1.8 behind, not that close for a move. Brandon up into 3rd, 2.7 with all the incidents going on. Will up into 4th ahead of Newells, who has a wobble which might allow Matta to try and move somewhere. Yuri now down in 7th with Pete in 8th and Thomas in 9th, but that could all change because Thomas and Pete come through the final sort of chicane. Pete onto the grass and Thomas is going to get the move done, maybe not quite close enough. But Red Matt and Callum, that gap 1.5 seconds. Gap behind them is 3.7 to Will. Brandon 8/10ths back now, because of course, Will has passed Brandon, and now Matta's all over the back of Brandon. Matta will be wanting to get up to speed with Will, try and get past Will in terms of points. So it will be an interesting one to see where this plays out. Brandon not probably wanting to let him through as easily as Matta wants. Niels then about 2.5 seconds behind. These could catch up, get a few extra points. Yuri then got Tom and Pete behind him, the 2 drivers behind him. Pete. Oh, Pete's going to go for a spin. Oh, he just kept it. Kept it on the track just about, but that's going to put him even further behind. Now this race now is starting to play out into Red Matt's hands as Callum's dropped back a little bit. Closest battle on track is these two. It's it's Matter, sorry, and Brandon. And Matter now has got ahead of Brandon, but Matter's gone wide. Is he going to hit that wall? Just about slows down the car. What an overtake that was. Brandon though, just going to come back down the inside and take the position off of the VSL inspired Team Speed coloured Mazda of Matter. Brandon now ahead of Matter. Matter looking for a way past once again, a little bit further back than he'd probably like to be at this stage, but he'll look for a move anyway. Guys up the front, Callum is now under pressure from Will rather than on the back of Red Matt, and that cut back to Brandon off the track. He's kept, I was going to say he's kept it on the track, but he's trying to keep the speed and he's going to lose that position to Matt. Matter's also off the track. Can Brandon keep it on the track? He does survive that incident, but is now 7 tenths behind Matter, and will lose a little bit of time as well as that. Niels then 1.4 behind, could be in with a chance of P5, maybe even P4. Yuri, Tom and Pete all within a few seconds of each other as well. Pete needs to, if he's found his consistency, he's still 5 laps, so he'll still be able to make his way up past Tom and Yuri. As Yuri dips a wheel into the grass, even lucky to get away with that one. This is a yellow flag. That's Brandon. Misses braking point completely into the little, I suppose, the straight on the bollards that have blocked the straight. So that's another race for Brandon turned sour, to give Pete someone to race at least at the back of the grid. As we look now to the leaders, Will ahead of Red Matt now, which are too busy focusing on the back markers to notice that Will has got ahead. Red Matt will not be best pleased with that one, but has brought Callum right into this fight. So if Red Matt keeps the pressure on Will, we've seen Will, he was in the lead of this race after the first lap and then dropped it around this sort of area, I believe, causing the spin, demoted into 6th, and then had to fight his way back up to 1st, which he has done. So that fight for the top 3 fight for 1st could still be a close one. Matter in 4th, long way off the top, but also about 5 seconds back to Niels. So Yuri closing that gap on Niels a little bit. Tom ahead of Brandon, ahead of Pete, but for how much longer? As Pete's closing that gap, Brandon closer to Tom than Tom would maybe like. Are we going to see him move down here through the right hand or no? But Brandon's going to focus on the exit, I think. Drift out a little bit wide. Around the outside maybe. Oh, he's going to hit the wall and go off track. Pete then is going to come through. Go past him. A little bit of grass racing, but nothing too bad there. Got to look then to the front too. Lap 7 out of 10. It's Will ahead of Red Matt for now, with a 2nd gap to Red Matt. Red Matt just taking a little bit more grass, trying to find as much time as he can. Found himself about a 10th, 2 tenths there. Callum's long way back compared to what he was, so Callum will settle for 3rd. Just keep it consistent, and that 3rd place will be his unless we see a collision with the front 2. Red might be giving it his all, trying to get this place back, and this is probably the best place to gain time. If you get this bit right and your opponent doesn't, it's a lovely little section of corners. Again, if we see Will, I was just going to say if we see Will drift out wide, but it's Red Matt that drifts out wide. Will keeps it within the boundaries, so does Red Matt, but that little outing, we'll say, for Red Matt has lost him about a 2nd of lap time. But there, Niels then has Yuri under pressure. Yuri has Niels under pressure. 1.2 is now the gap. Pete 4 seconds to those, but has cleared Brandon, and Brandon just ahead of Tom then, but not by much. So Tom could make a move. We've seen Brandon not get this corner right before, gets it right this time, but just dips a wheel onto that grass on the right hand side, and that means that Tom's going to have a nice little run as they come around turn 1. Might just be that little bit too far back. Yeah, he's too far back to make a move, but that'd be interesting to see. Yuri closing onto the back of Niels as well as we watch these guys. Niels closing a little bit on Mata, but it won't be enough because it's still a 4 second gap. So Mata settling for 4th, Callum settling for 3rd, Red Matt in 2nd, then 4 seconds to Will. So it looks like it's another victory for Will Murdoch. That will be his 3rd victory of the night, I believe. As we go into the final race, Will looks to have taken this one, maybe even the championship as well, but who knows until the final race. Red Matt in 2nd, Callum in 3rd, Mata down in 4th, just sort of managing the gaps. Niels and Yuri now. There's a 2/10 gap between them both. This is the closest battle on track. As we see Yuri on the inside of Niels, he's just going to sit in behind as they go through the chicane. Niels taps the wall, Yuri taps the back, and Niels is going to boost Niels forward. So that's unlucky for Yuri as he wants to get past as we're on lap 8. Yuri just has to be a little bit patient. He's still got a little bit of time to play with. He knows he's got that pace advantage somewhere. Just needs to find where it is, flashing his lights at the car. Niels will see it. Niels will be waiting. Where's Yuri going to go? Down the inside. Niels is going to come to the inside to cover it off, but then moves a little bit left because that's the way the corner goes. Yuri found the space, down the inside he goes, and just ahead as there's the right-hander is Yuri. Niels going to try and come back at him. Can't quite do it, and Yuri's just sealed himself a P5. If he can maintain it, I think he will as well, because he's got that extra bit of pace. Now he needs to use it to just pull away a bit from Niels. Don't make any silly mistakes, and Yuri will have that P5 of the night. Callum, as we got to Callum in the grass there, just trying to manage tyres and keep 3rd place. The gap behind him is 11 seconds, the gap ahead of him is 8 seconds. He's not got much to do. As we're on the final lap of the race, Will dominated this race the last 4 laps. First lap, started last, came up to be 1st within the last sector of the lap. A few laps later he's dropped it down into 6th, and he's fought his way back up into 1st and is now 8.5 seconds in the lead. Absolute stunning race for Will Murdoch, the British top 100 driver. Red Matt, solid effort as well to keep that 2nd place, fighting all the way until that little mistake that cost him, and then it's just been keep that 2nd place, keep it consistent. Callum the same, couldn't quite overtake Red Matt when he had the chance. We're still a little bit too far back from when the incidents occurred. So now Callum will have to settle for 3rd. Matt is settling for 4th. Niels in 5th. Yuri 6th. So Niels got past Yuri. I didn't see that. Yuri must have made a mistake somewhere, because Will has now won the race. Red Matt will come home in a valiant 2nd. Callum, bit of an interesting race, 3rd for him. Not too bad, but will excite the championship for Will. Ignite the championship for Will, should I say. I think with Redman not being able to win that race. Mata in 4th, Niels and Yuri 5th and 6th, fighting all race long. Yuri will be furious with himself not being able to get past Niels. Nearly does there, but Niels just holds on. Pete down in P7, could have had the chance to win this one, but a little mistake demoted him down the order significantly. Tom, bit bullied off the start, was up near the front, and then Will coming through, and I think a couple of the other guys coming through just pushed him down the line, and Brandon down in P9 once again. So it's Will Murdoch that wins in the 5th race of the evening as we go into the final race of this week's Team Speed Challenge. So, we are back then for the final race of tonight's Team Speed Challenge, Blue Moon Bay, Infield B, one of my favourite tracks on this game. It's not a very long track, so I expect to see lots of laps. Somebody that does like this track though is Yuri, who will want to have a good race. A driver that also races in this cockpit view, so we will do a lap with him in this cockpit view. Turn 1, when you're coming from the straight. Very hard to get right. You've got to judge it so you don't run wide into that wall. If you brake too much, you'll just slow right down there. Flat left hander, kick to the back end out. Little drifted there. Not entirely the best way through, but on this outlap it doesn't really matter too much. This would normally be a flat right handers, I believe. Yep, there we see Red Matt going for it. Flat braking just after the 100-metre board. He's got Callum down the inside. Could have broke a bit earlier there, but it doesn't matter too much as we head onto the main straight. So into the final race we go. Let's see who comes out on top. So it's Tom on the left, it's Brandon on the right, once again. Pete and Yuri on the second row, Niels and Matt on the third, Callum Redrat on the fifth, Will down in last again. But this track, as I have raced and have experience on, anybody can and will win this race. Brandon into turn 1, he goes in the lead, Tom around the outside, Pete down the inside showing what he's capable of. That though move has dropped him right down the order. He's now gone around the outside and hit Callum. Callum's had to sort of wobble his way into keeping it on the track inside of the wheel now up into 6th. Oh, had a bit of a contact with Niels and Matter. Nothing too serious though. Yuri sat behind Tom and Brandon. Brandon holding that lead from Tom, but it's here, the heavy braking zone, the last corner, the left hand. If you get this wrong, you're going into the wall, as Matter does, as Tom does. Yuri gets that pretty much nailed on, so does Niels. Around the outside they go, 3 wide into round the somewhat final corner. It's flat out, so it's not really a heavy corner. But Yuri then, Niels, Red Matt, all occupying that track position, wanting to get ahead. Niels manages to pull out, but only just ahead of Red Matt and Yuri. He's going to have Red Matt on his outside. Yuri's going to look to the inside. Will and Callum both coming through. Will doing taking a really wide line there. He's going to hit the wall. Yes, that's Niels in the wall. That's Niels spun backwards, so Brandon and Pete all get ahead of him. Will in 5th, Tom in 4th, Redmat 3rd, Callum 2nd, and Yuri in 1st. This is still anybody's race. Yuri though sets purple lap on the 2nd lap. Callum though chasing him down. These two both a little bit of racing around this track. Redmat would probably like to get involved. I think that's Callum in the wall, that's Redmat in the wall, that's Tom in the wall, and Tom sideways in the wall, so that's going to slow him significantly. Brandon up to 5th. Can he bring his night to a good end? The last few races he's had a bit of a difficult end to the races. His redemption maybe for him, but Will then is going to go down the inside of Callum. Redmat maybe down the inside of Callum if he can get it stick. The slipstream down this track is just immense, as Yuri is now nearly 2 seconds out in the lead. He just needs to keep it consistent and hope that Will starts battling and hits the wall like he does more often. So Redmat down the inside of Callum, who's down the inside of Will. Will just sort of sticking in there, not too. If they go through right on here, it's going to have to be some overtake. Oh, Will kept that inside line so tight, but Redman now has it inside here. Is he going to hit the wall? Just misses the wall, and Will though's got the switchback down the inside. Going to have the better run, I think, down the straight, should I say. But again, they're all going to be 3 wide. Yuri just ahead, just moving over to that left hand side a little bit so they don't get the slipstream to catch up to him. Redmat though in 4th, Will in 3rd, Callum in 2nd. For how much longer will that be the order? As Callum then in the middle, Will right behind him, Redmat on the outside. Redmat is going to back off this a little bit, is he? No, he's actually going to come down the inside. He's went a bit wide to get the exit and has got the better exit than Will, as Will just sort of made slight contact with the wall. They're going to be side by side through here. Callum just ahead as Redmat gets ahead of Will. Down the rest of the grid, it's Brandon from Pete. Pete's cleaning in, Tom Levitt 8th, Niels 8th, Matter down in 9th after his off in the first lap. Oh, that's Yuri getting passed by all 3 drivers there, so Yuri must have had some form of off. In that case, looks like he's in the paused menu, so that's unfortunate for him. Redmat though, just dropping a little bit to Callum, who's on the back wheel, like right on the back of Will. So if Callum's going to dive down the inside or go around the outside, he's got to make it stick, because we know, we've seen in previous races, Will can just pull away. But down the inside Callum goes, Will holding it around the outside. Will is going to get the better exit and just stay ahead, but now Redmat is going to be on the back of Callum. Callum's got to be looking in his mirrors and ahead of him. Brandon in 4th, Pete in 5th, Yuri dropped down to 6th unfortunately, so it looks like he's had some form of issue there. Matter in 9th, Niels 8th, Tom 7th. But we look back ahead to this battle. Callum goes down the inside of Will at the final corner. Will's just going to hold it around the outside. Redmat there is Pete, done the same to Brandon. Pete did the same to Brandon down the inside. Got on move stick. Brandon will look to come back at Pete though as they go down the main straight. Redmat behind Blue Fox or Callum, who's behind Will. Callum then looks to the inside. Redmat just sort of going to push Will along around the outside. And we're hoping a gap opens up. Callum down the inside into first. Will will get the better exit though, around that outside if he can. Redmat's trying to get himself through the middle, but Callum has launched himself down that inside of Will. If he just holds it now through this left-hander, turns to the outside of a right-hander. This is such tight racing, such close racing. As Will just gets ahead. Redmat might be looking to line up a move as Pete and Brandon are side by side. Pete and Brandon make a bit of contact into the final braking zone. Pete into the wall. Brandon's now going to get ahead on that run. We switch back to the leaders. It's Callum ahead of Will. Redmat just dropped off a little bit in that final braking zone. Callum then on the very left, on the apron almost. Will on the right, on the outside, as we look back to see Pete ahead of Brandon. Callum on the inside of Will. Will going to try to hold it around the outside like he normally does. He's going to get that better exit. Try and cut in on the inside, and that is almost a perfect switchback move. Just needs to hold that position, and it's done. Red Matt is now going to have a good little run at Callum. Pete ahead of Brandon, ahead of Tom. This is going to be an interesting battle for 4th as well. Neil's in 7th, Yuri dropped to 8th, and Matta in P9, soon to be P8 when he overtakes Yuri's slow car. But Will holds the lead for now. Ahead of Callum, ahead of Red Matt. Behind them, Pete from Brandon, from Tom. It's 2 3-way battles we've got as Will pulls that gap away again. If he makes that gap any bigger, it's going to be a risk for Callum and Red Matt to not be able to get this win. But Callum, under pressure from Red Matt. Will Red Matt actually make a move on this lap? Down the inside he's going to go at turn 1. Bit of a wobble on as he turns in, but keeps the car on the road, and that is a lovely little move down the inside. But Callum will look to come back at him as they go through the middle sector of the track. I think Callum will be looking, it'll be quicker through this right-hander, but he will sit behind, you'd expect, and line him up through the straight, but never mind, because he's down the inside. Just going to turn to the outside. If he can get this right, this will be a lovely little move to pull off. Switched from outside to inside. Red Matt's in the wall, and Red Matt is now going to lose over a second. As we look back then, Pete in 4th, Tom Nevitt in 5th, Brandon in 6th. This battle sort of flattened itself out a little bit. It's just Tom versus Brandon now for 5th. Tom hit the wall, so Brandon goes through. Neil's in 7th, trying to get onto this battle with Matta. Close it down in 8th, Yuri down in 9th. But it's Will from Callum, from Red Matt, from Pete, from Brandon, from Tom, from Niels, from Matta, and then Yuri once again. So Will has absolutely dominated this series. He's not dominated the first couple, just finding his feet, but once he got into the swing of his pace, his lap times, significantly quicker than the rest of the guys, which we kind of expected. But the guys were putting such a good fight with Will, and it's not over yet. Still 3 laps to go as they come on to lap 10 then. Callum only 1.8 behind. There's still a chance Will makes a mistake. Callum will be there to pounce. Red Matt with that hit into the wall, 3 seconds back. Pete 6 seconds in. Brandon then got Tom right down his inside. They go side by side. This is the closest battle on track then. About 5th place, it's Tom ahead of Brandon as they come down the main straight across the line to start their 10th lap. 9th lap, sorry, should I say. Oh no, it's 10. Oh, that's cool, it swaps. I didn't know it swapped that. Anyway, Tom on the inside, Brandon on the outside. Tom just keeps it. Just keeps that lead. I thought he was going to hit the wall, which is why I held my breath for a second. But keeps the lead as he drifted wide. Brandon then going to sit behind him through this sort of middle sector of the track as they come into the final braking zone. Brandon will hope to just get that perfect exit. And then once he's got the exit, we'll run him to the line. The gap out in front then is 3.2. Will is pulling away. 3.5 then to Red Matt from Callum. Pete in 4th. 5-second gap. Bit of a better race for him. Bit of argy-bargy at the start, but 4th is a better place than last, I suppose. Brandon in 6th place then. Tom in 5th. It's going to be a fight to the end of the race, I feel, as they enter their penultimate lap. Can Brandon find his way past Tom? Into turn 1. Brandon take the wider line. Tom takes the shorter inside line. Neil's just sort of lurking in the background, 3.5 seconds back, just watching this all unfold. His Matta's still 7 seconds back, so struggling around this track for him, unfortunately. But Brandon then closer, ever closer, ever closer as Will's about to start his final lap to Niels. If Brandon wants to make a move, now would be the best time to do it, as they both hit the wall. Tom a little bit harder than Brandon's, and Brandon is now ahead, but with the slipstream and the nature of this track and these cars, if Tom gets ahead of Brandon now, using the slipstream, they both hit the wall, but because they both hit the wall, they are still so close to each other. They now start their final lap. Brandon will defend the inside, Tom will follow. Oh, his contact, he slipped it down the inside, but nice clean exit for Brandon, and he should get the run again on Tom, so this will be a fight to the line. If we can keep it clean. Brandon then, behind Tom, gets the slipstream right the way down as you look to the front now. Will from Callum, Will lapping Yuri as he goes, as Will's going to cross the line to win the sixth and final race of the Team Speed Challenge and take the championship, I would imagine. Callum in a valiant second. Redman will come home third, P in fourth, but it's Brandon right behind Tom fifth. Who's going to get fifth here? Brandon pulls out to the left hand side. They're going to take it, and Brandon just ahead. I think Brandon will take it, but only by a couple of thousandths. If he can stay that way, he does just take fifth place. Tom in sixth, Niels in seventh, and Matter will come home eighth, with Yuri having that issue after leading the race for so long in P9. So there we have it, the 6 races hosted by Callum. Callum has done an exceptional job providing us some decent clean racing this time. It's been absolutely great to commentate on, with 3 wins for Will, 1 win for Pete, 1 win for Red Matt. No, 4 wins for Pete. Will. Was it 4 wins for Will? Pete won in round 1. Round 2 was Red Matt's. Round 3, 4, 5 and 6 were all Will Murdoch's. So Will Murdoch will surely win this championship. Just wait to see the final points as they stand. And as the games ended, host has entered the lobby. Keep an eye out on our Twitter at T_speed_esports for the results. But I've been Speed Risky. I've been your commentator, and this has been week 4 of the Team Speed Challenge. Tune in next week on some of the guys' streams, or maybe we'll have another main stream as well for next week's challenge, which will be revealed once again on our Twitter page. So cheers for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.